everybody, my name is Tammy and I am here to do a tutorial. I've kind of speed things up because I didn't want for it to be a 25-minute long video. And I'm gonna do a voiceover because I thought that would be easier. So I'm kind of putting on my contacts right now. I didn't delete this part of the video because I just wanted to talk a quick little intro. But yeah, I was putting on my contacts. So I'm starting over here with the Maybelline brow shaping wax. I find that this is pretty good. It gets the job done and it was pretty cheap too. And then I'm making some funny faces while I probably try to reach for something. I'm listening to music in the background in case you guys can't tell. I'm going to be using my Makeup Geek shadows, which that was a quick peek, but I have a lot of them and I find that they're great quality. I'm going to actually start use the color Mocha to fill out my brows. And if you're brunette, it's really good. It's a really good color, except that it's a bit kind of a warm brown. If you need something a little bit more on the ashy brown side, you should try to go with some of the other colors that they have, but I just find that this color works well for me, and especially with my hair because it's kind of like a warmer shade. So I'm using some of the Lorac Pro behind the scenes primer, priming all over the lid. And next I'm gonna use a Rio Techniques all over shadow brush, and I'm gonna use the Makeup Geeks foiled eyeshadow in the spotlight, and it's kind of like this pinkish peachy metallic color, and I just decided to put that all over the lid. I decided to switch brushes at this point. This is kind of just like a flat shader brush that I got in a Coastal Scents kit because it packs on color a lot better than the Real Techniques because of it's kind of like fluffier. It just gives more of a sheer wash of color. I find that with these in particular, these eyeshadows, foiled eyeshadows, you have to use more of a flat synthetic brush to really pack the color on. Next, I decided to get a dome crease brush from that same Coastal Scents kit, and I was using Cocoa Bear by Makeup Geek and adding that all over the crease. And then I was using my blending shade, which is Vanilla Bean, also by Makeup Geek, and another brush by e.l.f. to blend out the edges of Cocoa Bear. And I just kept trying to work in that outer V shape. And occasionally I went back and cleaned it up with my blending shade. And now I'm picking up Showtime with that same blending crease brush, which is another foiled eyeshadow, and it's a really dark red color, and I'm adding that to intensify the outer V. And right underneath where I applied the Cocoa Bear color is where I'm applying that, and I'm going back and cleaning it again with my blending shade. And then I'm using a pencil brush to add a little bit of that Showtime and Cocoa Bear right underneath the lash line. I used a mixture of those two. And then I used that same brush to actually add Shimma Shimma as an inner corner highlight, which is just a champagne color, which is also from Makeup Geek. And then I just went back once again, make sure all my blending came out okay. And then I'm taking this e.l.f. Precision Liner and using it to do my cat eye. Kinda not exactly in frame for this, but I really needed to look in the mirror. I find that this is a really good liner. I mean, I don't think I am gonna be repurchasing, but that's mostly because I like to keep trying new things. I don't find anything wrong with this liner, except that sometimes the little brush tip kind of frays a little. But I have two of these and they don't dry out and they're pretty good. They're not waterproof, but I didn't want them to be either, so just keep that in mind. I just find them to be really easy to work with and they have a really fine tip. I am now going to move on to lashes, and I'm going to be using my Covergirl Full Lash Bloom Mascara. It's new. It's not exactly my favorite. They say they're supposed to be touchably soft, and I'll definitely vouch for that. But it is not something I am going to repurchase. I would rather stick with their volumizing mascara or their clump crusher. I find that those are a lot better. But this isn't bad. It's just kind of a very simple mascara for every day. If you do not look for a lot of volume or length and you just want to darken up your lashes, this is a pretty good mascara. And it has beeswax in the formula, which makes it great for holding a curl without it being waterproof. I am moving on to priming my face. I use Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. I've been using it for about a year now and it doesn't break me out whatsoever. And it just feels nice on the skin. Usually I put on a moisturizer before my primer, but this time I did not feel the need to. And I only put it on my T-zone area too. That's usually where I get oily. And I'm going to be using a mix. The reason I'm using the foundation on that little pot, it's a mix of two shades of foundation from M Cosmetics, and I did not suit either. Neither of the shades matched me, so I mixed them up together and put it in a little pot. And then I'm using a Bubby HD Flawless brush, which is one of my favorite brushes for applying foundation. Next, I am moving on to concealer. The reason it's also in a little pot is because I have several different concealers that did not work for me, necessarily either because of shade or formula, and I mixed it together to get my perfect shade, consistency, and opacity. And I can write a blog post on that if anybody's curious, but it's amazing and it does not budge or crease, stay puts all day, and definitely very opaque coverage. And then I'm using my M Cosmetics powder to set my foundation. I've been using this powder for about a year too, and I finally am almost finished with it. It's actually one of my favorite powders. It's very finely milled and one of my favorite products from Michelle Phan's line. And then I'm using this bronzer by Too Faced. It's the Chocolate Soleil bronzer. It's a deluxe sample size that I've had for about almost a year now also, and I have not even hit pan on it, which is I recommend for you to buy the sample size and not the full size because it's at least 3 times cheaper. But it's also one of my favorite contouring and just overall bronzing powders. And then I'm using a Coastal Scents brush, and I'm using Monaco blush in Peach Bellini, which is a very glowy brush. You definitely do not need to apply any highlighter with this brush. It's a really pretty coral color, really nice for the spring. And then I'm going with, for lips, I am using Touch of Spice by Maybelline, which is a matte lip color. That was just me fixing my piercing. I swear I'm not picking in my nose. And there comes the hair down. Well, thank you for watching, everybody.